Hey guys, it's Marsha. I am going live. This will be my very first live on YouTube. So it looks like I am in the Restream live. And then let me see, let me click on the YouTube just to make sure that it's actually, saying what I'm definitely here. Oh my gosh, I clicked on the live and I am totally live. All right. First off, I want to tell everybody that is part of the Neurodivergent to Go club on, or should I say house, on Clubhouse. Thank you so much for joining. I also want to tell everyone that is on the I'm sorry, the ADHD to Go house on Clubhouse. Thank you so much for joining. I am going to copy and paste. Let me copy this and paste this link in the chat. So in the chat on YouTube, I'm going to type in here is the link to join the live. And I'm going to copy that and put it there. And then let me see if I could pin that at the top. Yep, pin message. There you go. So if you guys want to come and join me on stage, you're more than welcome to join me on stage. And then okay, let's get it started. Okay, guys. So to this week we are talking about neurodivergence and coming out. Now, I know a lot of you might think, okay, so coming out is like coming out with your sexual preference, but it's actually not. It's coming out as being neurodiverse, okay? So I learned that term last week on Clubhouse from one of the ladies in the clubhouse that joined my clubhouse group. She has not given me her permission to say her name on this YouTube live, so I will not do that. But I love that she shared that terminology with me because she just thought it was a great term instead of divergent. Divergent just sort of have like this scientific, maybe a stigma, on it. But then diverse just seems very inclusive. It just seems like, it's a bunch of different things and it might be a great thing. And I adapted it. So I want to give her credit and tell her thank you so much. So the reason why I say that it's important for people with a neurodivergency or neurodiversity to just go ahead and come out is because it really is there to help you. When you are dealing with people on a daily basis, especially people that you spend a lot of time with, such as people at work, such as your close friends, and they aren't aware of your neurodiversity, so many things can happen. One of the things that can happen is something called masking. So you are pretending to be neurotypical, and so you're hiding who you really are. When you do that, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of anxiety, there's imposter syndrome along with that. There's even memory loss. There are autoimmune diseases. There are so many issues masking because, of course, you're not being who you really are and being comfortable in who you are. And so when you do that, you play two different roles, and sometimes you get the roles mixed up. Sometimes you get burnout, and then people see who you really are, and they're like, "Wait a second, I can't handle this new person. Who are you?" And so that can cause problems. So I was reading the article. It was suggested by one of the ladies in my two clubhouse rooms. Again, one of them is called Neurodivergent to Go, and the other one is called ADHD to Go. And she said, you should check out this article called The Uncanny Valley and Neurodivergency, or I think it's The Uncanny Valley and Autism. And in that article, it talked about coming out. And I think it's a very important thing because I was practicing coming out this week, to people in my little tiny, tiny, tiny circle that I have, and people that I am doing business with in my really, really tiny, tiny, tiny circle. And it really, really helped me. And I want to talk about that today. So, one of the ways in which it helped me is when I told them, I noticed that one to two more others admitted that they were neurodivergent. One of them said they had ADHD. Another one said that their kid had ADHD and was really going into detailed about the issues that their kid have and all of the wonderful things that come along with having ADHD, which was being gifted. And I really do not believe that either of those two people would have came out the ways in which they did if I had not had the courage to say it first. Another reason why I think it's important for us to come out as neurodivergent is because there are things about us that may seem, um, that may be interpreted to other people as being lazy or being rude. And a lot of people, neurotypicals especially, don't understand that sometimes our impulsivity causes us to interrupt or interject at inopportune times. And to a neurotypical person, that is socially unacceptable behavior, that is uncouth. If you're in a professional setting, it's unprofessional. It could cause you jobs, promotions, contracts, raises. It can cause you your entire network for your professional career. Um, Now let's talk about the rudeness. Sometimes neurotypicals have don't have a perfected filter, right? And we just blurt things out. I'm not talking about interruption. I'm talking about saying things that are too honest, maybe needing a little bit more tact and sensitivity. I learned that from like a show I was watching. I don't even know if a show called Dexter. I don't know if I could say that on YouTube, like referenced shows, but I don't want to get flagged and then my video gets turned down. But having tact and sensitivity, it's very, very important because when you are sensitive to what you are saying so that it doesn't offend others, and when you say it at the right time, at the right tone, it really brings across the message in which you intend to convey. And when you don't, it conveys a different type of message. It might convey in a very rude manner, which you didn't mean to do. So when people understand that there are times that you may blurt things out that are inappropriate or that are very appropriate but may not be at the right time, they're like, "Oh, okay, I get it. She or he is neurodiverse." They're not maliciously or purposefully trying to be a class clown, be rude, you know, making fun of everybody else in the group. None of that. So that those are one of the two reasons. Another thing is what it does, it sort of takes the target off your back. I've noticed with neurodivergent people, for instance, I am both, I do have ADHD, hyperactive and inattentive. Well, there are times where I am just staring out the window, like literally just staring out the window. You could be talking to me and I am staring in space. I'm looking at you in your eyes, but I'm completely staring in space. And so when um when that happens, I am just totally, totally out of it. And you might think, oh my gosh, is Marsha is she purposely ignoring me? Does she not understand? Do I need to repeat myself? And there's nothing that you can do or say that's going to get me interested where I can be in the zone and focus with you. I am just out of it. So, if people are aware of that, people that I do business with, and they do business with me over and over again, sometimes they can tell this is a time where I probably need to explain it again. I probably lost her somewhere, or she understood it very well. She's just ruminating on it right now. It's just perusing through her mind. And I probably just need to be quiet for just a second so that she can think and come back and focus to what I'm talking about. But that's the type of relationship that you would forge when you work with someone, or you have someone in your very close circle who gets to know you and see what your habits are and really figure you out, right? But you're not going to get the opportunity to create that bond, that connection, that relationship if you never come out and tell anyone. There's going to be speculation about how uneducated or lazy or nonchalant or rude you are. And so the last thing you want to do is be misconstrued in a way that is not genuine to who you are, right? So, for me, I've been practicing coming out this week, and it's really it's helping me. And what I started to notice is I started when those other two ladies came out this week, I started to notice that we were all three of us were masking, which means we were extra quiet. We were trying not to interrupt. We were focusing really hard on paying attention. And after we both, all three of us, a- after we all admitted that we were neurodivergent, we you could see us like impulsively blurting things out. You could see us being even more honest, like we were just ourselves. And I can tell just by the way in which they interacted with me, it was like a breath of fresh air, like a weight lifted off their shoulders. And so that's one, because remember, admitting to yourself that there might be something different about you is already pretty shameful. And then admitting it to others, it takes a lot of courage. So when you're able to release those those toxins out of your body, that shame, it really does, change your perspective. It changes your mind, and entire you glow differently. You attract different types of people. You attract the type of people that are thinking like you, that are on your brain, your brain wave, or your brain length, or whatever the proper term is. So that was my experience so far, coming out. And then by the end of the week, one of the ladies told me, and she was a very important person in her position. She was not, let's just say there's only one person higher than her. So she was the second important person. And she was going into details about her medication, what worked for her and why it didn't work for her. And then I started telling her about my experience with the Adderall shortage that I had with my child a couple of months ago. And so it really went from all three of us masking to admitting that we were neurodiverse, to talking about our children that were neurodiverse, to discussing the medications that we were on. And you have no idea how great it felt to listen to someone that is diagnosed with the same thing that you have. You have no idea how good it feels to open up your mouth and speak what's on your mind and have the other people in the room receive it in the manner in which you meant for it to be conveyed. It felt so good. And so I would encourage anyone. There was a question last week when we had our clubhouse room last week of when do you feel like you need to come out, right? Um, when is a proper time? You can't really trust everybody with coming out as being neurodivergent or neurodiverse. So when should you do that? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what happened with me. I just decided that I wasn't going to mask anymore. So I guess I had had enough of the masking because I learned with my doctor that all of the stress that I carry around, what happens is I was getting, you know, autoimmune diseases because of carrying this stress. And it's not just this particular stress, but many other stresses that was going on in my life. And so what happens when you get an immune disease, your body turns on itself. And so I started seeing my therapist, and my therapist and I were talking about my issues and came up with a treatment plan for me to work through my issues. And when I started doing that, my entire life began to change in a better way, in a more positive way. And so I said, you know what, if I can do this in that part of my life, in my financials, in the relationship with my child and my child's teacher and the community, I bet you I can do this with my neurodivergency. And I guess you got to get sick until you can't be sick anymore. I guess you got to get sick and tired. And I guess I had reached the point where I got sick and tired. And then I I got to the point where I needed to do something, right? I needed to try something so that things would change in my life. And so, because I did something and I tried something so that things would change in my life, and it turned out for the better, of course, that's positive feedback. And neurodiverse people love immediate positive feedback. It's our drug, which is why they say we love video games so much because, we win a level and then we get a celebration or something, and then we go on to the next level. But I came out this week to a couple of different people in different groups I'm a part of, and it was positive. So that feedback that I got that was positive was enough for me to keep coming out. Now, if 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 it was a negative, then maybe I would have held back or wouldn't be encouraged to continue doing so. But I would say that I would not have known if I hadn't done it. So I could sit around and peruse over and over and over in my head, when is a good time, when can you trust people, or I can just take a chance and do it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't. And if it does, I can keep coming keep coming out to different groups in my life, right? So that is, I can't give any advice. I'm not a professional. I'm not a licensed clinical therapist or a psychologist or in cognitive behavior or a psychiatrist or anything like that. The only thing I can do is share my experience with you, and maybe hope it would have resonated with someone somewhere into helping you guys in some way, shape, or form. So, and I mean, and if coming out as being neurodivergent involves coming out about your sexuality, then, and you feel like you need to come out um, in that way, then that's what you feel like you need to do. I really believe that all of this masking is making us sick. We're already neurodiverse. We already learn differently, perceive things differently, um, handle things differently. We don't need to make things even harder for ourselves. So, if it's going to if you don't know if it's going to benefit you or not into coming out at work, coming out with your family, coming out with your friends, coming out in a particular group that you're a part of, if you don't really know, I guess you're never going to know if you never do, right? Um, so I guess the only way to find out is to just go ahead and do it. But you do have to feel comfortable. I think, you know, I felt comfortable doing it. So you do have to feel comfortable doing it. So I could definitely respect and understand someone that doesn't feel comfortable uh, doing it at all. So that would completely make sense. So we have I've been talking and carrying on for 20 minutes now. I just want to welcome everyone to the Neurodiversity and Coming Out live stream today. The name of the channel is called Neurodivergent to Go. Um, I should have put it here and linked it, all of the links to my Patreon and the clubhouse and the seminar on Eventbrite and all of that. I will put all of that in the description box because it looks like I didn't put it in this live, but I will, so that you guys can have access to it. We are here every Saturday at 2 o'clock. Um, Today we just happened to do 2:30 because I had other stuff to do, but it's normally every Saturday at 2 o'clock on Clubhouse. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to do it on YouTube. And that way you guys can have it available to you whenever you want to watch it. You can watch the replays, and then I'll do the live streams. That way you can click the link, come on the live, come and have a chat with me if you want, and then we can discuss it together. As a matter of fact, I bet you, let me see. Okay, I was going to say, I bet you guys are still still on Clubhouse looking for me, thinking, I'm going to be there. But no, no, no. We are here every Saturday at 2 o'clock right here um on YouTube. I want to thank everyone for supporting me. I also, did someone else join the live? Takeko, are you there? It looks like someone did, but I don't know how to. Takeko, are you in? Are you on the live? Takeko, are you there? Takeko, can you hear me? Okay, let me chat and say, can you speak? Takeko, can you hear me? Okay, Takeko. I I got your private message back here. I saw you said I can't talk at the moment. Okay. I want to tell you, Takeko, thank you so much for joining the live. Even though you weren't able to speak, I want to tell you thank you so much for coming over and joining. Oh my gosh, I have a person that joined the live. I feel I feel so honored, guys. To Keiko, I want to tell you thank you so much for joining the live. I really appreciate it. I was in the middle of doing the announcement. So I was saying we're here every Saturday at 2 o'clock. Today, I was here at 2:30. I changed the time to 2:30, and I sent everyone a notice in both of the houses on Clubhouse, so you guys will know. Uh, and then starting next week, we'll be here at 2 o'clock every Saturday on YouTube. And that way you guys can catch the replays and, listen to them whenever you feel like it. I also have my Patreon for all of the content that you can't get here. I'll put that in the link in the description box and then we also have our seminar coming up on Eventbrite. So you can join that. So, again, I just want to tell everyone it's about to be 4 minutes. It's about to be 30 minutes and 4 minutes. So I just want to thank everyone for joining the live, everyone that's about to watch the live that's not here right now. Thank you to all of the supporters and everyone that take part in the chat. And give provide resources for us all to be able to use. So guess what, guys? Please thumbs up the video so the algorithms can recommend more of these to you. Uh, Turn your notifications on so you'll know the next time I go live, and then share it with someone that you think might be able to benefit from this. Okay, guys? All right. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Now I gotta figure out how to end the live. This is my first time doing it. So let's see. Okay. All right. I found the button.